Hey, this is Justin Sane from Anti-Flag, and you're listening to Collision on Voice FM. Hello.
Hi, Justin. It's Kat. How are you?
Very good. How you doing?
I'm good. It sounds like you're out and about in the car at the moment.
I actually am out and about in the car. I'm just about to pull into my driveway.
Awesome. We actually had a chat in September last year when you were coming out here with Pennywise, but now you're coming out for your own headlining tour of Australia.
Yeah. Gosh, that's awesome. It's good to talk to you again.
Yeah. For Blood and Empire is the 10-year anniversary of the album.
Correct. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's exciting for us because it is 10-year anniversary, and it was an important record for us. So it's fun to go back and revisit it.
And it sounds like it's fun to come back and revisit Australia if you're here a year after you were here last time.
Well, here's the thing. We have a presidential election happening right now, and when we visit Australia, we will have a new president. And whether it is Hillary Clinton or, God forbid, it's Donald Trump, it will be a disaster. Therefore, we need a vacation. We need to get the hell out of the States and take a vacation. And Australia is the optimum place to do it, especially when you consider that in Pittsburgh in December, we'll have a couple of feet of snow. In Australia, we'll have beach and sun and sand and surf, and that's where we want to be.
Awesome. So then you're going to be doing this album from start to finish on stage?
Yeah. And then we're going to have the audience pick encore song. And so we're going to do the full record, and then, we'll see where the encore goes. It could be one song. It could be 12 songs, depending on, the enthusiasm of the crowd and how it's going.
Yeah. Do you do that a lot?
Sometimes we do. We have at different times. Actually, we played a set in Gold Coast in Australia where we actually just did the whole set with a whole request set, the whole set.
Sounds like fun.
And that was a good time. That I think back to that show, and that was like one of my more favorite shows.
That's really cool too, because a lot of the bands that have been around for a long time, when they're touring older music, they have to relearn it. But you guys obviously know your stuff.
Yeah, totally. And, there were definitely a couple, deep cuts, where somebody would pick a song and we're like, look, we have no idea how to play that song. But we practice a lot of songs, and we know a lot of songs, that's for sure.
What do you do when you're not playing with the band or rehearsing or writing?
Oh, just getting drunk and passing out my own filth. No, when I'm home, when I'm not on tour, a lot of my life still revolves around the band. Like, for example, today I was writing new material, and I was in the studio with our drummer working on new songs. There are a lot of things that are related to the band that require a lot of time when we're home. So, we kind of self-manage ourselves. So, the band is definitely a full-time job for us. And it definitely keeps me on my toes, even whenever, when we're not on tour.
Yeah.
And, of course, we have a record label, too. So that, takes up a lot of our time.
All right. What label?
I should AF Records.
AF.
I should mention two bands, and they're AF Records. You have people think it's Anti-Flag Records, but it's actually correct. But it's actually not Anti-Flag Records. It's Fuck Records. My father suggested that, and that's been the name of the label ever since. And I'll give a plug to two of my favorite bands on the label. They're both actually from our hometown. One is the Homeless Gospel Choir. And one is World's Scariest Police Chases. And they're both great bands, and they're both on our label.
Awesome. Can I tell you what I found out by accident yesterday?
Yeah, do it.
When putting Anti-Flag into Facebook, make sure you don't leave the L out, because there are pages that you will find.
Right. I've definitely I've run into that, actually, and, that's the antithesis of what we stand for. Which leads to an interesting question that I'll ask you. When the fuck is Australia going to get its shit together and legalize gay marriage?
Oh, look, I don't know. They crapped on about this plebiscite, which actually just got cancelled, so we're just nowhere again. The government are using it as a distraction, I think.
Yeah. It's really interesting because I was thinking, I knew I would be doing some interviews with our Australian friends today, and I was thinking to myself about the fact that Australia does not have legalized gay marriage. And, gay marriage only passed recently in the U.S., and now that it's passed, everybody who was kind of against it or sort of on the fence, you talk to people now and they're like, oh, it really wasn't any big deal at all. I don't know why people were upset about it. And I think it's really interesting, like, when you look back in history, you look at the fact that there was a time in America where black people could not use the same water fountain as white people, or women could not vote, and now it's like, okay, gay people can get married, and we look back on these things later and think, of course, these were the right things to do. But it's really interesting to me how much of a struggle it takes, though, to get to that place, and I think what you just pointed out is really interesting, that quite often a lot of these issues, especially these issues of inequality and issues of division, a lot of them, one, come down to power, but number two, a lot of them are just issues that are issues of distraction, keeping people's attention off of what really affects them, whether it's, wealth distribution or healthcare or education, So it's really interesting to me to look at it in those terms. And also for me personally, I love punk rock and the idea that it is a subculture that has always been ahead of the curve on all of these issues. And, it's a community that's always been standing up and fighting for the equality of people, or, for people to be equal. And it's really interesting, though, isn't it, though, that in conservative, there are people that never want things to change. They always want to hold on to these ideas that later just are archaic. I really have a hard time identifying what it is about never progressing that is attractive to people.
Yeah, I have no idea, but hopefully something will happen.
That's
soon.
my rant. That's my rant for this interview. There you go.
I will send it to the government directly because they should listen.
Yeah.
Hopefully by the time you get here in December, there'll be a few changes happening. We'll see.
That would be cool. I think it comes down to the fact that, change takes time and it's incremental. And, we often don't get everything that we want at once. And I think that that's true in life in general. I think it's definitely true in the world of activism. But if you keep fighting and you don't give up, things that you never thought could change. And, I think it's true in the United States with gay marriage. I think that we might have a woman president soon. That's something I think that I don't think my mother ever thought in her lifetime that she would see that. Little by little, we have these victories. And that's why I think it's important for everyone to say what they believe in, because even when you just talk to your neighbor, you can have an effect on one person. I think that in life, if you have an effect on one human, then you've done a lot, and I think that quite often people discount themselves and what they're able to achieve individually, and then of course, when that's all added up collectively, that's when change comes. And I hopefully we'll see that on the gay rights issue in Australia in the near future.
Yeah, Australia always wait until America do things before we will do them.
Right, and America always waits for Western Europe, so we can't claim to be any better.
Yeah, we should talk about Anti-Flag anyway, because I will actually give out the tour dates. You get here on the 5th of December, starting in Brisbane, and then the 6th you're in Newcastle, the 8th in Sydney, the 9th in Adelaide, and then Saturday the 10th you're at Max Watts in Melbourne, and then Sunday the 11th you're over at Amplifier Bar in Perth, which means you don't get to get a hangover in Melbourne. because you got to get up early and get on a plane.
That's never a good thing. You know, I love a party, so whenever I miss the party, I'm always a little bummed about that. However, you know, maybe I just won't go to bed. That's quite often how I roll. So, well, if you have an early flight, you just don't go to bed. So that's one way to handle it.
Yeah. Do you sleep through the day?
You know, you can always, if you can sleep on the plane, sleep on the plane.
Yeah, and it's a long trip.
We only live once, you know. Don't be weak.
No. And if you can do it, then people can get out to see your shows.
If I can do it, they can. If I can fly halfway around the world, then they can get out to see our shows. Yeah. I will say that, you know, the goal of our shows, in the end, even though we're a very serious band, the goal of the shows is to have a good time, you know. Yeah. And, you know, I grew up going to punk rock shows, and when I went to a show, even when I went to see a political band like the Subhumans or the Dead Kennedys or whoever it might have been, I still was going to have fun. And, you know, we believe in creating a place where everybody can have a good time, whether you're big or small, male or female, whatever color skin you are, straight or gay, whatever it is. You know, we want to have a place where everybody can come and hang out and just celebrate the fact that we all love punk rock and that, you know, we found this music and to have a good time. So why not come out, you know? It's definitely going to be a good time. And to be honest with you, like, that's one of my favorite things to do is to play anti-flag shows. I mean, it might be my favorite thing. And that, you know, after each show, if there's anything that I take away from it, it's the unity that is there, you know? And we really love to have an interactive show. And by the end of the show, we want people high-fiving and having a good time. And, you know, that's definitely the goal of the show.
Yeah, awesome. And it is like punk rock is for the outcasts and the misfits too. So like it is, if you're in one of the capital cities and you think you don't have any friends to go out with, then just go because you'll make friends there.
Well, you know, one of the things that we always do at our shows is we take time and ask everybody to shake the hand of the person that they're next to. And to introduce themselves and make a new friend, you know, because for me, you know, I was one of those people and I still am, you know, an outcast and a misfit. I don't want to be part of whatever's cool, you know, and I definitely don't fit into mainstream society. And, you know, I'm looking for other people that are out there in this world that are like me, you know, and that's why I found punk rock, you know, and I believe that punk rock, that's who punk rock is for. And that's who our shows are for, you know, and punk rock shows when I was a teenager, that's how I found my friends, you know, it's funny. That's where I found the drummer of our band, you know, and here we are all these years later, still playing music together and hanging out together. So it's, that's to me what I think is special about punk rock. And yeah, so if you are a person that feels like you're alone or you're isolated, punk rock is a place for you to find people. And, you know, truly, we don't have to live alone. You know, we don't have to be alone. So that you know, you don't have to come to an anti-flag show, but please, you know, go to a punk rock show. And if you don't make a friend at the first one, then go to another one.
Well, I think everyone's going to be going to the anti-flag one because that is the best sales pitch I've ever heard for attending a concert. It sounds like an amazing experience.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. And, you know, that's just the reality. You know, that's why I personally think the punk rock is the coolest group of people to be around. And that's why I've lived my life, you know, immersed in punk rock. So on that note, now I do have to go. But I'm glad that we got to have this conversation. It's really cool to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
I guess hopefully I'll be catching you in December.
I'm definitely going to have to make sure that happens. I will just quickly say that people should find you at Anti-Flag Official on Facebook, and the AmericanSpring.net website is still up and running, and Destroy All Lines is where they can get the tickets for the December tour. And thank you so much, and have a great day, night, whatever.
Hey, thanks for the plugs. If it was up to me, we'd be in a sad state of affairs, so I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Good to talk to you. Take good care. Be well.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.